I was able to pick some beautiful full-grown zucchini this morning. I am definitely going to make that chocolate zucchini cake for company tomorrow. Here's my recipe for my chocolate zucchini cake. This is just a basic recipe I found online. I do like to make some substitutions though. I'll take oats and grind them and have oat flour instead of plain white all-purpose flour. Sometimes instead of sugar, I'll use honey or stevia or something like that. For the oil, I usually like to use coconut oil instead of regular vegetable oil. So those are some of the substitutions that I make. I hope you enjoy. So I took 2 cups of just regular Quaker oats, old-fashioned oats. I'm going to grind them up in my food processor to make oat flour. Here's the consistency of my oats. It's now just like flour, but a bit healthier for you. Next, the recipe calls for 2 cups of sugar. As I mentioned, I often substitute either honey or stevia. Right now I'm out of honey. Our bees are busy producing, so I don't have any honey in my cupboard right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just use 2 cups of sugar. This is for a family get-together, and so I want it to taste good. I want everyone to like it. So I'm going to go ahead and use just 2 regular cups of sugar. Next, we're adding a half cup of cocoa, baking cocoa. It's okay if there's a little extra. I like it chocolatey, so I go ahead and add a little bit extra. Sometimes I even add chocolate chips to it. That makes it yummy as well. So I went ahead and added the rest of the dry ingredients, the cinnamon, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. I always like to use sea salt, the Himalayan sea salt. It has lots of natural minerals that are very healthy for you. So I'm going to go ahead and add that, mix that in with the rest of our dry ingredients, and then we can take a whisk and mix all of our dry ingredients together. Next, we'll work on the wet ingredients. We are going to use the food processor on our zucchini and get that all ground up as well. So to prepare my zucchini, I rinsed it really well under some nice warm water, made sure it was nice and clean. And I'm going to cut the ends off, the stem end and the blossom end, and then I'm going to chunk it up into pieces so it'll fit nicely into my food processor. And that's all you do. You leave the skin on. You just need to chunk it up so we can go ahead and grind it up in the food processor. So I'm cutting it up pieces about this size, just so they'll fit nicely in the food processor and it'll process it quickly and easily without leaving any big chunks. But again, no need to peel it, no need, as long as it's not a really big zucchini, the seeds are not a problem. They're still small, that's why you want to pick the zucchini before it gets really large. So these seeds will go and process nicely, no problems. So I know my recipe calls for 2 cups of shredded zucchini. I never really usually measure it. I just take a medium-sized zucchini, not one that's super huge, not one that's tiny, a good medium size. Here's another one that I have. So this is about the size, about a medium-sized zucchini. Chop it up, then we're going to put it in the food processor. It'll be right around 2 cups. It might be a little bit more, but that's okay. I always think it makes the cake extra moist, extra juicy. So it does call for 2 cups shredded zucchini. You can use your own judgment on that. This is about what the consistency of the zucchini is like. Once it is processed, that's what you want it to be like. It's going to make your cake super moist. Let's work on those wet ingredients now. My first ingredient, are my eggs. And you can see here, you turn it around, these are eggs from my chickens. I put the date on it, the month and the day. So this is July 19th, nice and fresh. And this one, you turn it around, July 17th. So nice fresh eggs added to our homemade zucchini cake. Best practice is to always crack the egg into another container before you put it in with the rest, in case something was wrong with the egg or you got eggshell. You don't want to spoil the entire thing that you're making. But look at those yolks, nice bright yellow yolks, beautiful. Our next ingredient is 3/4 cup vanilla yogurt. I like to use the Greek yogurt. Lots of nice protein in that. Great flavor. Our next wet ingredient is oil, 1/4 cup oil. I mentioned I like to use organic coconut oil. I feel like it's a healthier oil and it gives great flavor, just a hint of that coconut. It is solid at 72 degrees, but above that it becomes liquid. So in the summer, it's nice and liquid. If it's a little bit cooler outside, you may have to melt the oil in order to measure it. But we're going to use just 1/4, and it's a liquid right now. Next into the bowl is the vanilla. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. This is vanilla that I made last year, and I got some vanilla beans. And I made my own vanilla. You can shake it up, you can see the vanilla bean, the seeds in there. Yummy. If you want to try to make your own vanilla, lots of tutorials on how to do that. You just need to get the vanilla beans and some vodka and time. You need patience for that vanilla flavor to come through. But lots of fun to make, and makes your own home-baked goodies yummy. All right, let's go ahead and get our wet ingredients all mixed together. Our wet ingredients are all mixed. Now we're going to slowly add our dry ingredients that we've already mixed up. We'll do a little bit at a time to get it mixed in thoroughly. We mixed our dry ingredients in with our wet ingredients. Now it's time to add our secret ingredient, our shredded zucchini. Secret ingredient is going to make our cake super moist. So we're going to slowly add that in and incorporate it into the batter. And it's smelling wonderful, starting to smell very chocolatey, even though we're adding some of this green zucchini into it. I've incorporated the shredded zucchini into the batter with our wet ingredients and our dry ingredients. You can see the consistency here. It is not real thick, but that's okay. It's going to make your cake very moist. Remember, I didn't measure the zucchini. The recipe does call for 2 cups of shredded zucchini. I didn't measure it. It was probably maybe more like 3 cups. So I might have some extra in there, but I took my little teaspoon and I tasted it, and oh, it tastes very good. So now I'm going to go ahead and pour it into my prepared 9x13 pan. I went ahead and sprayed that so nothing will stick to it. And we'll get our oven on and get ready to put it into the oven. Here's the cake ready to go into the oven. The oven is set at 350, ready to bake. I set our timer for 25 minutes. It says 25 to 30 minutes, so we're going to check it at 25 and see how it's doing. The timer went off on my oven, 25 minutes. It still looks like it's pretty wet though. I use a toothpick just to check it, and yep, sure enough, look at everything that is sticking to the, whoops, there we go, to our toothpick. So we're going to give it a little bit more time. So after some extra time in the oven, you can see I pulled it out. It is cooked all the way through. You can see it's cracking a little bit. But that's okay. We're going to frost it and it's going to be yummy. Right now it is cooling, so we're going to let it cool. Once it's cooled, I'm going to go ahead and frost it with this cream cheese frosting. I struggle making a good frosting, so I cheat. I go ahead and buy prepared frosting, but it's really yummy. I like the cream cheese frosting on the zucchini cake. And so, but we're gonna let it cool and then we'll frost it and then we'll hear how everybody likes it, how it turned out. The cake is finished. It's frosted. It's been in the refrigerator overnight. It'll be ready for company. We got lots of rain last night. I went out to the garden and look, I have more zucchini. I'm gonna have to find some new recipes. Well, we are ready for company, so we'll get some comments and see what everyone thinks about the zucchini cake. Abigail, eating zucchini cake. What do you think?
I love it.
You love it?
I do.
What do you like about it?
The frosting is my favorite, and the cake is super good.
Super good. You know, it has zucchini in it.
I love zucchini.
All right, good deal.